Alright, hey, welcome back to Car Talks, where I rant, ramble, rave, and word about my thoughts on training, life, and fitness. Thinking about today, securing your anchor point, or really when we're looking at isolating muscle functions, or when we're looking at isolating like muscle groups, we need to secure the origin of where that muscle comes from, right? Been thinking a little bit about it today, because when we're really looking to try to get the function out of a muscle in terms of, really strengthening its action or a specific action, we need to remember that muscles have an origin point and an insertion point, okay? The great example is the lat, right? Because the lat's a pretty big muscle, but it originates from the lumbar spine. I'm trying to remember specifically which one it is, because I think it's thoracic. I think it's thoracic 12, right? Vertebrae number 12, all the way to lumbar 5, right? Is the span of the lat, and it inserts on the inside front edge of the humerus, right? There's like a little tuberosity or epicondyle, it's up there that it inserts to. I can't remember the exact name of it. But when we look at that, that's a good example, because muscles act from origin to insertion, right? So it pulls the insertion point closer to the origin point. And in that process, it creates an action at the skeleton, like at the joint, right? So continuing with the lat there, adducts the shoulder, as well as extends the shoulder and internally rotates the humerus. So gonna use that one, right? Because when you see people do a lat pull down, a lot of times they relax their core and don't lock their core in, right? Well, now we're taking that lat and we're doing a couple different things. Now, we can do on purpose and relax the core if we're trying to train a specific function. But let's just say we're trying to really, one, grow the lats, or two, create shoulder stability. We need to lock the core in, because when we go to then do like a lat pull down or a pull up, what ends up happening is we need to have a secure origin point to pull against, okay? Think about trying to, let's just say, I'm trying to think of a good example here that's, a slightly different analogy. Think about trying to use a pulley system to lift a heavy object off the ground, right? Well, you don't want your pulley hanging on something that's got tons of slack, right? That's why you anchor it into like a ceiling point or like a solid beam instead of anchoring it from like a rubber band, right? Because you need something solid to pull against. So muscles kind of act in a very similar way. If we're going to try to maximize how much strength we can develop, if we're trying to maximize hypertrophy and trying to build muscle and trying to create extra tension and really create a specific joint action, we need to be aware of what the origin is doing of that muscle and being able to isolate that factor. So just something to think about, especially if you're adding some hypertrophy work into your training. Until next time, we'll see you in the passenger seat.